Ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we recognize one undeniable truth. The spiritual realm is as real as the physical world we see and touch. Whether we acknowledge it or not, our lives are constantly influenced by forces beyond the natural. But here's the danger: many of us are unknowingly opening doors to influences that don't belong in our lives. You see, every action, every word, every thought is a seed. What you sow in the spirit will determine what manifests in your life. When you choose fear over faith, bitterness over forgiveness, pride over humility, you create an atmosphere that attracts darkness. You don't need to invite a demon with words. Your lifestyle sends the invitation loud and clear. It's like lighting a beacon in the spiritual world saying, "Here I am. Come in." The question is, what kind of beacon are you lighting? Some of us are filling our minds and homes with content, conversations, and habits that are drenched in negativity and rebellion against divine principles. What we entertain becomes the environment we live in, and what we tolerate takes root in our lives. You cannot play with fire and expect not to get burned. You cannot allow toxic influences to linger and expect peace to thrive. But let me be clear, demons do not have power unless you give it to them. Darkness only thrives where light is absent. When your life is filled with the truth of higher principles, when your mind is renewed daily, when your words align with life and not death, you disarm the forces that would seek to pull you down. They cannot operate in an atmosphere of truth, righteousness, and peace. You must take inventory of your life. What are you allowing through your eyes, your ears, and your mouth? Who are the people you surrounded yourself with? What are the habits you refuse to confront? These things may seem harmless, but they carry weight in the spiritual realm. The enemy loves subtlety. He thrives in your complacency. What you ignore could be the very thing holding you captive. Understand this: your life is sacred territory. You were created with purpose, and that purpose comes with responsibility. You have the authority to close doors you've opened and to seal them so tightly that darkness cannot re-enter. That authority is activated when you live intentionally, when you guard your heart and your mind, and when you align your actions with higher principles. This is not a call to fear, but a call to vigilance. It is a reminder that the battle is not against flesh and blood, but against forces that seek to undermine your potential, your peace, and your purpose. You are not powerless. You are equipped with everything you need to live a life free from spiritual oppression. It begins with awareness, continues with action, and thrives in alignment. Today is the day to stop attracting what doesn't belong in your life. Choose the light, and the darkness will have no choice but to flee. We live in a world where the unseen influences everything. From the thoughts we think to the habits we form, there's a constant interplay between what we see and what exists beyond our sight. Yet too many walk through life blindfolded to this reality, unknowingly building bridges to forces they cannot control. The spiritual realm is not passive, it's responsive. It responds to your choices, your words, your attitudes, and even your unspoken desires. The greatest mistake we make is thinking that neutrality exists. There is no such thing as a neutral spirit, a neutral influence, or a neutral atmosphere. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, and every action you take shifts the atmosphere around you. It either invites light or darkness. It's either building or destroying. What are you allowing into your life that has no place being there? Some of us treat life as though it's all surface level, as though the unseen doesn't matter. But the truth is, the unseen governs the seen. When you ignore the spiritual principles at play, you leave yourself vulnerable. It's like leaving your house unlocked in a dangerous neighborhood. You may think you're safe because you're inside. But an unlocked door is an invitation to anything that seeks entry. You've got to stop playing games with your environment. Everything you allow has an influence. The music you listen to isn't just sound, it carries messages and spiritual undertones that shape your inner world. The conversations you engage in aren't just words, they're seeds planted in your soul. The media you consume isn't harmless entertainment, it's an entry point for ideas, emotions, and even spiritual influences that can root themselves deeply within you. Some of you have been wondering why peace has left your home. You've been asking why anxiety, fear, and confusion seem to dominate your mind. It's not a mystery. Look at what you've opened your life to. Look at what you've tolerated. The spiritual atmosphere you create determines the kind of forces you attract. You can't entertain chaos and expect peace. You can't sow seeds of discord and reap harmony. The spiritual laws are clear. You reap what you sow, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Now, some of you may say, but I'm a good person. I don't intentionally invite negative influences into my life. Being passive isn't enough. Passivity in the spiritual realm is dangerous. It's not enough to avoid doing wrong. You must actively pursue what is right. Light doesn't simply appear in darkness. Because you wish it would, you must turn on the light. The act of doing nothing is, in itself, an action that allows darkness to thrive. Think about the people you allow into your inner circle. Relationships are powerful connectors in the spiritual realm. Every relationship is a door, either opening you to growth and purpose or exposing you to harm and destruction. You cannot afford to keep company with those who consistently bring negativity, confusion, or rebellion into your life. The words they speak, the attitudes they carry, and the energy they bring affect you. Even if you think you're strong, prolonged exposure to the wrong influences will wear you down. Let's talk about the power of words. Words are not just sounds, they are spiritual tools. What you speak shapes your reality. Many of you are unknowingly cursing your own lives by the words you choose to speak. You say things like, nothing ever works out for me, or I'm always unlucky, and you wonder why you feel stuck. Words have creative power. What you declare, you attract. And it's not just about what you say out loud, it's about what you think and believe internally. Guard your thoughts. Your thoughts are the starting point of everything you experience in life. Negative, self-defeating thoughts aren't just bad for your mood, they create a spiritual atmosphere that invites oppression. When you entertain thoughts of fear, hopelessness, and anger, you're building an environment where darkness feels comfortable. Instead, choose to meditate on what uplifts, what inspires, and what aligns with the higher principles of truth and goodness. Now, I must emphasize this: awareness is not enough. Recognizing that you've left doors open is only the beginning. You must take action to close those doors. And it's not enough to close them, you must seal them so tightly that they cannot be reopened. How do you do that? By replacing the negative with the positive, by filling your life with what is good, pure, and righteous. Take your home, for example. What kind of atmosphere have you created there? Is it a place of peace, love, and growth? Or is it a battleground of conflict, negativity, and unrest? The atmosphere of your home is a direct reflection of what you allow into it. If your home is filled with arguments, toxic entertainment, and careless words, it's no wonder that darkness finds a foothold there. But when your home is a place of prayer, gratitude, and positive intention, you create a fortress that darkness cannot penetrate. This principle applies to every area of your life. Your workplace, your relationships, your personal habits, they are all either fortified by light or weakened by darkness. Think about how you spend your time. Are you using your time to build yourself up, to grow, to align with purpose? Or are you wasting it on distractions that drain your energy and leave you vulnerable to attack? Some of you have opened doors through your habits. Addiction, laziness, gossip, anger, these are habits that don't just affect you physically or emotionally, they affect you spiritually. They create cracks in your foundation that allow negative influences to creep in. The enemy doesn't need a wide open door to enter. A small crack is enough. But here's the good news: you have the power to rebuild. You have the power to align yourself with principles that protect and uplift you. It starts with a decision to be intentional, to be vigilant, and to take responsibility for your life. You can't change the past, but you can control the present. And what you do in the present determines your future. It's time to take back control. It's time to close the doors you've left open and to fortify yourself against influences that have no business being in your life. This isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. You have everything you need to create a life that is filled with peace, purpose, and joy. But it requires effort. It requires discipline. It requires a commitment to living in alignment with higher principles. The journey isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. When you align yourself with what is true and good, you'll find that the peace you've been searching for was within reach all along. Darkness cannot dwell where light is present. Start today. Take inventory of your life. Identify the open doors and make the decision to close them for good. The decisions you make daily are the framework for the life you are building. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you are always laying bricks of habits, attitudes, and influences that construct the house in which your spirit will dwell. Some of these bricks are solid, built with the intention of creating a safe, thriving environment. Others, however, are cracked and weak, compromising the integrity of your foundation. Take a moment and think about your foundation. What values is it built upon? What beliefs and practices hold it together? If you find that your life is constantly shaken by storms, be it emotional turmoil, spiritual confusion, or relational chaos, it's time to examine what you've allowed to settle in your foundation. Many of the cracks we experience are caused by the doors we left open, often unknowingly. You might ask, but how do I know which doors I've opened? The answer lies in reflection. Start with what you consume. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant there will grow. Consider the media you watch, the music you listen to, and the conversations you engage in. Are they planting seeds of life, encouragement, and growth, or seeds of fear, anger, and destruction? Some of us have normalized what should never have been allowed in our lives. We laugh at things that are destructive, we entertain behaviors that are toxic, and we excuse attitudes that are harmful. Over time, these things become part of our identity. And we wonder why we feel heavy, unsettled, or disconnected. It's because we've allowed foreign objects into our spiritual atmosphere, things that don't belong, things that shouldn't be there. One of the most deceptive traps is the idea that small compromises don't matter. A small compromise may seem harmless, but it's often the first step toward a much larger downfall. It's the seemingly insignificant decisions that set the stage for significant consequences. Every choice you make sends a signal into the spiritual realm. It either reinforces your protection or weakens it. Some people live as though they are immune to the consequences of their actions. They think, oh, it's just one time, or it doesn't mean anything, but everything means something. Every thought, every word, every deed carries weight. Nothing is neutral. What you allow, you endorse. What you tolerate, you empower. Take, for example, the words you speak over your own life. How often do you speak defeat instead of victory? How often do you agree with negativity instead of standing in truth? Words are powerful. They are carriers of either life or death. When you say things like, I'll never succeed, or this always happens to me, you're aligning yourself with failure and defeat. You're giving power to the forces that want to keep you down. It's not just the words you speak aloud, it's the silent agreements you make in your mind. Thoughts of unworthiness, fear, and shame create a stronghold where negativity thrives. The spiritual realm responds to what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're powerless, you'll live as though you are. But if you believe you are capable, equipped, and chosen, you'll begin to act in alignment with that truth. Your relationships also play a critical role in the atmosphere you create. Who you surround yourself with matters deeply. Are your closest relationships lifting you up or pulling you down? Do they inspire you to grow, to become more, to pursue what is good and true? Or do they drain you, discourage you, and lead you toward compromise? Some of us hold onto relationships out of fear of being alone, even when those relationships are toxic. But let me tell you this, it is better to walk alone in truth than to walk with company in destruction. Not everyone who started the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. You must have the courage to let go of what no longer serves your growth and purpose. Another open door we often overlook is our habits. Habits are powerful because they shape who we are over time. A habit may seem small and insignificant in the moment, but repeated consistently, it becomes a part of your identity. Are your habits aligning you with light and life, or are they drawing you into darkness and destruction? Addictions, procrastination, gossip, uncontrolled anger, these are habits that don't just affect your mind and body, they affect your spirit. They create patterns that invite negativity and chaos into your life. Breaking these patterns requires intentional effort, but it's possible. You have the power to choose differently. You have the power to replace destructive habits with constructive ones. One of the greatest tools at your disposal is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It reminds you of what is good, true, and worthy in your life. When you focus on gratitude, you create an atmosphere that is inhospitable to negativity. Darkness cannot thrive in a heart that is full of thankfulness. But gratitude alone is not enough. You must also cultivate discipline. Discipline is the act of doing what is necessary even when it's not easy. It's the daily choice to align yourself with principles that bring life. Discipline protects you from the distractions and temptations that seek to derail you. It keeps you focused on what matters most. You must also guard your peace. Peace is one of the most powerful weapons you have. When you cultivate peace in your heart and mind, you create an environment where negativity cannot thrive. Peace doesn't mean the absence of challenges. It means the presence of strength and stability in the midst of them. Finally, understand this: you are not powerless. You have the authority to take control of your life and to close the doors you've left open. You have the power to choose what you allow into your life and what you reject. But with that power comes responsibility. You must be intentional, vigilant, and disciplined. You must take action to align your life with the principles that bring peace, purpose, and joy. It's not always an easy journey, but it's always worth it. The life you want, the peace you seek, and the purpose you desire are all within reach. But you must be willing to do the work. You must be willing to confront the things you've ignored, to change the patterns that no longer serve you, and to close the doors that have allowed negativity to enter. Every choice you make is a step toward the life you're building. Choose wisely. Choose intentionally. Choose to create an atmosphere where light can thrive and darkness has no place. You have the power to stop attracting what doesn't belong in your life. Use it. The time for passivity is over. You cannot afford to sit idly while the forces you've allowed into your life wreak havoc on your peace, your purpose, and your potential. Today you must make a decision to stand, to reclaim authority over your life, and to shut every door that does not serve the greater purpose for which you were created. Understand this: your life is sacred. You were not placed here to be a victim of circumstances or influences beyond your control. You were designed to thrive, to walk in purpose, and to carry a light that dispels darkness. But the life you desire will not happen by chance. It will only happen by choice. So choose today to guard your heart, to protect your mind, and to set boundaries that preserve your peace. Choose to speak words that build, to think thoughts that uplift, and to act in ways that align with the truth. Stop entertaining what drains you. Stop tolerating what diminishes you. Stop attracting what doesn't belong. This is your moment. Take the authority that has always been yours and live intentionally. The forces of light are greater than any darkness, but they require your cooperation. Make your life a fortress of peace, joy, and purpose, a place where no demon, no darkness, and no destruction can ever dwell again. You have the power. Use it boldly. Use it wisely. And use it now. Every action you take from this point forward determines the direction your life will go. It may seem overwhelming at first, especially when you consider how many influences, habits, and attitudes you've allowed to shape your journey. But let me remind you, no matter how far you've strayed, no matter how many doors you've left open, you are never beyond redemption, restoration, or transformation. Change begins with a single decision, a moment of clarity where you resolve to take back what has been lost. One of the most important realizations you must embrace is that you have authority over your environment. Too often, people surrender control of their lives either to circumstances, other people, or negative influences. But you were not created to be a passive observer of your own life. You were created to be a steward, actively shaping the world around you according to principles of light, truth, and righteousness. This requires action, not just intention. It's not enough to desire change. You must actively pursue it. Start by evaluating your daily life. What habits dominate your routine? What thoughts fill your mind when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night? What kind of energy do you carry into your relationships, your workplace, and your personal time? These seemingly small aspects of your life are actually the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you allow negativity, doubt, or laziness to take root in these areas, they will spread like weeds, choking out the potential for growth and fruitfulness. The key to transformation is awareness followed by intentional action. For example, if you realize that certain relationships are consistently draining you or pulling you away from your purpose, you must have the courage to set boundaries. This isn't about cutting people off out of anger or resentment. It's about protecting your peace and ensuring that your life remains aligned with your higher calling. Surround yourself with people who inspire, encourage, and challenge you to be better. These relationships will strengthen your resolve and create an environment where growth is not only possible, but inevitable. In the same way, you must take inventory of what you consume. Whether it's the media you watch, the books you read, or the conversations you engage in, everything has an influence. If you continually feed your mind with negativity, chaos, or distraction, you cannot expect clarity, peace, or focus to thrive. Be intentional about what you allow into your mind and spirit. Choose content that uplifts, inspires, educates. Create an atmosphere of learning, curiosity, and positivity. And you'll notice a shift in the way you think and feel. Another critical area to address is the power of your words. Words are not just tools for communication, they are creative forces that shape your reality. What you speak into existence will often manifest in your life. If your language is filled with complaints, criticism, and defeat, you will find yourself surrounded by the very negativity you voice. But if you speak words of faith, gratitude, and hope, you'll begin to see the fruits of those declarations take root in your life. Be mindful of the power of your tongue and use it to build, not destroy. Breaking free from negative patterns and influences also requires discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. It's the daily commitment to doing what is necessary, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. This means making choices that align with your long-term goals and refusing to be swayed by temporary comfort or pleasure. Discipline builds resilience, and resilience is what allows you to overcome obstacles and stay on course. One area where discipline is especially important is in managing your emotions. Emotions are powerful, but they are not meant to control you. They are indicators, not dictators. When you allow anger, fear, or frustration to take the driver's seat, you make decisions that are often impulsive and destructive. Instead, learn to acknowledge your emotions without being ruled by them. Practice self-control and choose responses that align with your values rather than reactions that satisfy fleeting feelings. Prayer and reflection are invaluable tools in this journey. These practices keep you connected to your purpose and grounded in truth. They allow you to pause, reset, and realign yourself with what truly matters. Prayer is not just a ritual, it's a conversation. A moment of connection that brings clarity and strength. Through prayer, you invite light into your life and close the doors to darkness. Reflection, on the other hand, helps you evaluate your actions and intentions, ensuring that you remain on the right path. Forgiveness is another powerful tool for closing doors to negativity. Holding on to anger, bitterness, or resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Unforgiveness creates a stronghold in your life where darkness can thrive. It keeps you bound to the very things you want to be free from. But when you choose to forgive, you release yourself from that bondage. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrongs done to you. It's about freeing your heart and mind so you can move forward unencumbered. You must also learn to trust the process of transformation. Change doesn't happen overnight, and the journey is rarely smooth. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when it feels like nothing is improving. But remember, growth is often invisible at first. Just because you can't see the results doesn't mean the seeds you planted aren't taking root. Stay consistent in your efforts, and over time, you'll see the fruits of your labor. It's important to recognize that not all challenges are a sign of failure or weakness. Sometimes the obstacles you face are opportunities for growth and refinement. They test your character, strengthen your resolve, and prepare you for the next level of your journey. Don't shy away from challenges, embrace them as part of the process. Every difficulty you overcome is a step closer to becoming the person you were created to be. At the same time, be patient with yourself. Transformation is not about perfection, it's about progress. There will be days when you fall short, make mistakes, or feel like giving up. In those moments, remind yourself that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. Celebrate your victories, learn from your setbacks, and keep moving forward. The only way to fail is to quit. As you continue this journey, remember that you are not alone. There is a greater power at work in your life, guiding, supporting, and strengthening you. Lean into that power when you feel weak. Draw on it when you need courage. Trust in it when the path ahead seems uncertain. You were not created to walk this journey in isolation. You were created to thrive with divine support. The life you want is within your reach, but it requires your active participation. You must choose to close the doors that no longer serve you, to protect your peace, and to align your life with principles that bring light and truth. This is not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment, a choice you make with every thought, word, and action. Take this moment to decide. Decide to let go of what has been holding you back. Decide to step into your power and authority. Decide to create a life where darkness has no place and where light reigns supreme. The choice is yours, and the time is now. Let today be the turning point where everything changes for the better.